I hope you're ready for the inaugural Overwatch League 2020 award show brought to you by High Noon Podcast called The OWLIES.
Welcome, everyone, to the first annual OWLIES, the Overwatch League exclusive award show brought to you by the one and only High Noon Podcast. Yes. Season 3 is almost done, and while we wait for the grand finals weekend, we wanted to look back and recognize some of the regular season's top performers. We're going to be giving out awards today for the MVP of the league, as well as an MVP for each position, tank, DPS, and support. We'll be giving out a Rookie of the Year award, a Comeback Performance of the Year, a special Sleeping Dragon award, which is a top performer on a really, really bad team, and a Coach of the Year award as well. Each award has been determined by the sole discretion of the High Noon Podcast hosts. If you don't like who wins each award, please let us know in the comments, where we will promptly disregard your feedback. Yeah. As always. In addition, we will have a musical guest today, which we hope you enjoy. I want to say at the top of the broadcast today that a player who wins an award will not be nominated for any other awards that appear after it in the show, so please bear that in mind when you hear the list of nominees and write your complaints in the comments. Because of this, we're going to be starting with our Overwatch League Season 3 Most Valuable Player. Let's get things started and send it over to Blevins for the nominees.
Yes, thank you, Deathblow, and welcome everyone to the Overwatch League 2020 OWLIES, brought to you by High Noon Podcast. We're starting off with the MVP award here, as Deathblow mentioned, and the nominees are Void, Fleta, Smurf, Alarm, Choi Ho Bin. And the winner is Choi Ho Bin. This is Choi Ho Bin's first nominee and first OWLIE. Now accepting on behalf of Choi is Deathblow.
Thank you so much, Blevins, and thank you, me as well, for the nominee and the award. Really, on behalf of Choi Ho Bin, I want to thank everybody who, quite frankly, didn't believe in Choi and, voted for Fleta in the actual Overwatch League MVPs, but we thought we'd do an award that didn't have a nonsensical fan vote component, and we felt Choi was most deserving. Consistency and excellence are two pillars of the Most Valuable Player award, and that's why, in our opinion, it has to go to Choi Ho Bin. From last year into this year, throughout all the different changes and rules and metas and everything, he has been a rock for the Shock, and we could not realistically, that was an accident, you're welcome. Thank you. Could not give it to anyone else. There was a lot of deserving candidates, but in our opinion, none more so than Choi Ho Bin. So thank you, everyone. And now let's move things along and go back to Blevins as we give out the Rookie of the Year.
Yes. Thank you, Deathblow. And as you mentioned, we'll be talking about the nominees for this year's Rookie of the Year. The nominees are Alarm, Lee Jae-gon, Lip, Mungbong, and Gangnam Jin. And the winner is Alarm. This is Alarm's first nominee and first OWLIE. Now accepting on behalf of Alarm is Deathblow.
Thank you so much, Blevins. Yes, we're here to discuss rookies, brand new players in the Overwatch League. I am Deathblow, as Blevins said, and as we said 4 times so far already.
Yeah, about 3 minutes ago.
Don't worry, it's going to keep happening.
If you're expecting a different gag, boy, do you not know what show you're watching.
Wrong place. Yeah, we're going with Alarm for this award. The Philly Fusion were a bit of a breakout team this year, led in large part by just the sheer power and performance of the backline, the support players. Alarm came in as a rookie with the highest expectations so far that I think we've seen in Overwatch League, and really lived up to him. He was on the MVP nominees list, and he absolutely deserved votes and consideration there. When you are able to put out a performance like that as a rookie, when you're able to come in fresh-faced, wide-eyed, and elevate a team that 2 years ago was in the grand finals, and put them kind of back on a similar trajectory as they've made it into the Final Four, the grand finals weekend this year. And to do that as a rookie is astounding. We saw that last year with Hacksaw as well, very similar story. And it was just a very fitting award. Want to give a shout out to Lee Jai-gon, who have kind of a similar tale on the APAC region, and did a really, really good job there with the Shanghai Dragons. But Alarm wins it just on sheer and just flashiness of his plays, right? He was constantly a human highlight reel. It was an absolute blast to watch him play this season. And in my opinion, really, he was the glue. Him and his support partner were really the glue that held the Philly Fusion together, made them dominant across multiple metas, and just they really never skipped a beat at any point this year, and it really was in large part due to the performance of the rookie Alarm. So congratulations, Alarm. You earned this one. Now let's head back over to Blevins for our next award. Blevins?
Thank you, Deathblow. And as you mentioned, we're going into our next award here. That award, of course, is the Comeback Performance of the Year. And the nominees for Comeback Performance of the Year are Sato's Redemption Arc, The Mayhem Turnaround, Fearless's Return to Overwatch, Ben Best Becomes a Viable Main Tank, and Birdring returns to form. And the winner is the Mayhem Turnaround. This is the Mayhem Turnaround's first nominee and first Owlie. Now accepting on behalf of the Mayhem Turnaround is Deathblow.
Could have been accepting on behalf of the Florida Mayhem. But
I know. I made a decision, and I made the right decision.
I am not accepting this award on behalf of the Florida Mayhem organization. This made up, meaningless award. I'm not accepting it on behalf of the organization. I am accepting it on behalf of their performance this year.
Yeah, well, it's not the team that won it. It's the team's performance that won it.
You're not supposed to be talking during this.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so on behalf of the Florida Mayhem, listen, this was a team that was the Cleveland Browns of the Overwatch League through 2 years. They went through a roster rejuvenation last year, brought in a lot of new players. The vast majority of those players are still here to this day. And a big part of what brought the Mayhem up to relevancy, really, because they weren't that. They had a strong stage 4 in season 2, much like other teams that are still bottom 2 in the standings. But unlike the Washington Justice, to take a shot while we're here, unlike the Justice, the Mayhem got it together. They did a really good job around Coach Kuki, who was brought in this year, and I think really helped develop some of the talent that was brought in by and Bare Hands before him, and really, like I said, elevated this team, brought them from the dumpster to a very playoff-worthy roster and team led by star performances from their DPS line. Yaki and BQB were great. It wasn't all smooth sailing this year. There was some main tank decisions to be made. There was some metas where maybe the support line wasn't at 100% early in the year, but what matters is how you finish your season and how you're playing when you get into the playoffs. And the Mayhem are by far the most different from where they were at this time last year to where they are at this time this year, at least in our eyes. So wanted to make sure we really stepped up and made note of that. And this award is a favorite of mine from other sports and things like that. So yeah, I really wanted to bring that into the Owlies this year. And listen, Sato's redemption arc was great. Fearless from an 0-40 Shanghai Dragons team 1 year in Tier 2 into Overwatch League. This was a difficult one. Birdring being a star player again. All these things were great. I'm going to leave somebody becoming viable at their position off the list because I need 5 nominees. But nonetheless, it doesn't diminish what the Mayhem have accomplished and done here. So congratulations to them, and congratulations to TMP, their one fan, who screams very, very loudly in our Discord for them. So now it's time to go to our musical guest. I know you're all very excited. So without further ado, we're going to send you over to Adam Hoek's YouTube channel. Blevins, take it away.
On the night of McCree's darkest hour, the moon shone on his red hands. He fought long and he did not cower, but fate had other plans. Overwatch flung him a coin. They said, it's up to you. Go rot in jail for life or trade your boots in for Black Watch shoes. He's not good, but he sure ain't bad. He'll make amends for the sins that he has. He says, I'll change the world one bullet at a time till I find mine. He traded in his hat for a badge, and they gave him unrivaled power. He was pulling triggers without a catch. That is till Black Watch turned sour and Watch changed day into night. It got so dark he lost sight of the light, and what he did was no longer right. He flipped the coin, fight or flight. He's not good, but he sure ain't bad. He'll make amends for the sins that he has. He says, I'll change the world one bullet at a time till I find mine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our musical guest, Adam Hoek. Of course, if you are, well, I don't even want to say a newcomer. You can still be a pretty OG fan and not necessarily know about Adam Hoek. He was our very first guest ever on the show way back when, probably in early 2016. Of course, many of you will know that song as our outro song and our theme song. We had Adam on a while ago, so we thought it fitting to, forego DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled was our second ballot, but we had to give it to Adam Hoek.
And Adam video. Deserved it very much, if for no other reason than he's the only musician who's given us permission to play any of their songs on our show, and that's the one. So thank you so much, Adam. I hope we didn't overstep our boundaries of, hey, can we use this in our outro? but
by doing it for the
you
next
don't make
5
Overwatch
years
content anymore. So I doubt you'll know. I doubt you'll know.
Yeah,
But thanks anyways, Adam.
Yeah, I thought, oh, these schmucks are probably only going to have 3 episodes. I don't care. If only. But we'll be jumping back into the show here with our very next award. This is the Sleeping Dragon Award. And the nominees for the Sleeping Dragon Award are Myungbong, Dante, Glister, Shockwave, and Aim God. And the winner is Myungbong. This is Myungbong's first nominee and first Owlie. Now accepting on behalf of Myungbong is Deathblow.
How did Dante not win this award? He's on such a better team. Okay, so yeah, the Sleeping Dragon is an award that is being given to a really standout, top-performing player on a team that was the exact opposite of that. They really stood out and managed to make some of the matches in Overwatch League actually watchable and interesting. Brought matchups closer than they should have been and just overperformed compared to those around them. We're giving it to Myungbong here. The Boston Uprising. What can I, Deathblow, say about the Boston Uprising? Nothing good. They're not really trying that hard. They're not really signing players that give them much of a chance to be successful in the league. With one exception, and that is this man, Myungbong, another highly touted rookie that came into the league, and I really think would have been right there with Alarm as far as performance goes if he had been on a better roster and on a better team. This is another one of the awards where there's a handful of other really strong candidates. Dante, Shockwave, and Glister specifically, I think, warranted some very serious consideration. And Aim God, again, I wanted 5 nominees. So he showed up as well. But in all seriousness, though, I'm really excited to see what Myungbong can do throughout his career. Boston is a little bit known for signing talent and then selling them to other teams. And I really, really hope that happens this offseason for this particular player because he did not get enough attention throughout the 2020 season. He almost single-handedly won them a playoff game against my Houston Outlaws, which is why I would have personally disqualified him from contention for this award. But nonetheless, I had to let Blevins pick one of the winners, and so we're giving it to Myungbong here. Congratulations, Myungbong. Boston Uprising. What the hell? Get it together. Back to you, Blevins, for our first positional MVP.
Thank you, Deathblow, and thank you, Myungbong. Yep, that's his new name. Myungbong. Nailed it. Thank you, Myungbong, for being our sleeping dragon for this Overwatch League 2020 season. But we move on to the positional MVPs, and we're going to start off with our tank MVP nominees. And the nominees are Smurf, Fearless, Void, Hanbin, and Krong. And the winner is Void. This is Void's first nominee and first Owlie. Now accepting on behalf of Void is Deathblow.
Yes, thank you, Blevins. I'm here to accept on behalf of the Shanghai Dragons off tank Void. It was a very tough call on this award amongst Void and his fellow tank line partner, Fearless, in my opinion. Obviously, all the nominees for a change in this award were very, very deserving of their spots on this list. So big congratulations to Void. It says a lot to me that he is standing out on top of, and I think of all our awards, this might be the least controversial that we give out. But yeah, I mean, he really did stand up and stand out on that Shanghai Dragons roster. I gave it to the off tank here because, to be honest, I think the off tank has a little bit more of an ability to like impact overall team performance, right? Like the main tank seems to set the pace and really drive the ship, but it's Void and the other off tanks in the league that are kind of running around patching holes in the ship as you spring a leak, and they're, you know, especially on Diva in particular, they're frontline peeling, backline peeling, they're all over the place. You have to know 100% of what's going on the map at all times in that position, and Void really did stand out as a player that was a cut above. You know, the MVP was of this position as well, so we clearly, you know, believe wholeheartedly that this is a very crucial and very important position. Really, both members of the tank line are. If you would have given this to Fearless or Smurf or, you know, any of these guys, I wouldn't have too much argument to say about it. Really, same thing for the MVP list and everywhere where I haven't specified otherwise. It's been pretty close, but wanted to make sure we gave a little bit more love to the APAC region, which for us was very difficult to watch given the time frames, and I know a lot of our listeners, the European fans of our podcast, will attest to it. It can be challenging at times to keep up with things when they're not happening live in your time zone, but even in minimal viewings and minimal opportunities to see things, Void really popped off the screen and really stands alone here, deserving of the Tank MVP award. So big congratulations to the Shanghai Dragons. This is a very big award ceremony for them. They come up a couple times here now. So congratulations to them and Void specifically. You earned it, buddy. Good job. Back to you, Blevins.
Thank you, Deathblow, and thank you, Void. We'll be moving on now to our second positional MVP, and that position is for the support MVP. And the nominees are Alarm, Lastro, Lee J. Gon, Violet, and Funny Astro. And the winner is Lee J. Gon. This is Lee J. Gon's first nominee and first Owlie. Now accepting on behalf of Lee J. Gon is Deathblow.
Thank you, Blevins. Yes, I'm accepting on behalf of Lee J. Gon, and I want to at the top address the fact that at the beginning of the show, I said that if you win an award, you won't be in the nominees list going forward, and we heard Alarm was nominated, so my answer to that is whoops. But in all seriousness, though, this was, I mean, if not for Alarm, this was the Rookie of the Year as well. In my opinion, he, again, the Shanghai Dragons are all over this thing. They really are. Outside of my really only critique of the team is that they have a bit of a clutch problem, but it's honestly been a minute since that's come up. It's also been a minute since we've had like playoffs or tournaments or anything like that. So we'll see how it pans out in the long run. But this is a regular season award. We don't care much for the tournaments on the High Noon podcast, so I'm more than willing to overlook any Shang Nines that may or may not have occurred. But yeah, Lee J. Gon wins this one. A main support player and really a phenomenal one. I thought he a little bit carried his support line. Not that there was anything wrong with Izyaki's play. I don't think you're as good as the Shanghai Dragons are with a major weakness on your team. Really none of the teams left in the grand finals weekend have a major weakness. There's just a couple things here or there maybe, but Shanghai was so lucky to get this player and to bring them in for their rookie year. Really enjoyed watching him enter into the league and take off as a player and a performer here. So congratulations once again to the Shanghai Dragons, and congratulations to Lee Jae-gon. Blevins, our DPS MVP nominees, please.
Yes, we are moving on to our DPS MVP. I know this one is a hotly contested and one of the more exciting nominations that we've had here for this ceremony. But without further ado, the nominees for DPS MVP are Carpe, Fleta, Yaki, and Exy. And the winner is Fleta. This is Fleta's first nominee and first Owlie. Now accepting on behalf of Fleta is Deathblow.
Thank you so much, Blevins. I'm back again representing the Shanghai Dragons and one of their players here. Really swept the positional MVPs. You can get a feel for why so many people think they are the favorites going into grand finals weekend. And we'd be remiss if we didn't point out that Fleta was actually the Overwatch League MVP, which is, I mean, at least
lesser
as far as I'm
awards.
concerned, it's the number 2 MVP awards.
Yeah.
There's the Owlie MVP,
Yep.
and there's the Owl MVP.
Yep.
Those extra couple letters really set us apart, make us better than anything that contains a fan vote. I will die
Agreed.
on that hill
100%.
forever. Yeah, we talked about it when he won the actual Overwatch League MVP. Fleta was so flexible, so good across every single DPS hero that was asked of him, whether it was a hit scan, whether it was a projectile based, it didn't matter. A player that had so much hype coming into the league in season 1. He's been here the whole time, and really just finally stepped it up and got on a team that could use him effectively and let him show his stuff. No more sharing of stage time, etc. for Fleta. Fleta is meta. Fleta is the DPS MVP, and the Shanghai Dragons complete their sweep of the positional MVP awards. So congratulations to Fleta. I'm sure you are very, very excited about this one. I know in your actual Overwatch League acceptance video, there wasn't a lot of emotion there. I imagine you're crying right now listening to this in a language you don't speak.
Wearing an NYXL jersey.
Of course. But yes, thank you, Fleta. Thank you, Shanghai Dragons, for the excellent Overwatch and setting a standard in the APAC region that we wanted to make sure we recognized. So yeah, that wraps up this award. Blevins, we've got one more award today. So talk to us about some of the coaches.
Yes. This is our final award for the Owlies for the Overwatch League 2020 season. And that is going to be for our Coach of the Year. And the nominees for Coach of the Year are Krusty, San Francisco Shock; Moon, Shanghai Dragons; Jin, Guangzhou Charge; Rush, Paris Eternal; and KGD, Philadelphia Fusion.
Nope. That's not it.
KDG,
There
Philadelphia
we go.
Fusion. We got there. All right. Fix that one. KDG, Philadelphia Fusion. And the winner is KDG, Philadelphia Fusion. This is KDG, Philadelphia Fusion's first nominee and first Owlie. Now accepting on behalf of KDG, Philadelphia Fusion, is Deathblow.
Thank you so much for getting the award winner's name correct, at least on try number 2.
Hey, I got it on 5 out of the 6 attempts.
I will guarantee you that in the mind of KDG, the fact that you said it wrong really cheapens this award, but it doesn't cheapen it to us who are giving it out. Listen, we've long been disciples of Coach Krusty. It feels a little bit like the job he did this year was really done last year when he built this team, elevated their play, and brought them to the top of the league. It's really hard to improve on that, and you can't because they won the whole league, right? Like they were a dominant team. They won it all, and it's really hard to go up from there. So we decided to look at one of the teams that leveled up and really went above and beyond, and you know, that's something that is really evident of coaching. When you get more out of players than people think you can, I think that really, really speaks to coaching. And man, did Sato look awful last year. And here we are now. And he's honestly, as one of his biggest detractors that I'd heard, I have to just eat crow on it and say he's absolutely an Overwatch League level main tank. He had his issues. He's still not perfect. There's plenty of problems, but a good coach works around those problems, covers them up. Like we talked about the supports for this team really helping be that glue. And the coaching staff is another big component of that. So KDG did a phenomenal job with this roster. They built it with a lot of new pieces. There's a lot to like about what the Philadelphia Fusion have done this year. So I'm really, really happy to see KDG win this one. I also think it's very notable. We criticized them a lot during the year for putting Carpe on the bench at times and playing Hisu over him. And then we get to the playoffs and we're in a meta where they want them both. And Hisu didn't look great when they used him before, but the coach knew what he was doing, and he put him out there and he got him ready. He built him up. He made him into a really viable, really valuable hit scan player for the team. And I give him a lot of credit for that, because it's really easy to look at the performance and go, I can get better from this guy. I've got to play him. But a good coach finds ways to use as much of their roster as they can. And in this instance, he really brought the player up from somebody I didn't want to see anymore to somebody that I get it when he comes out, right? As long as Carpe's not on the bench, I'm completely fine with Hisu being out there. That wasn't the case earlier. We've been big EQO fans for a long time. I made a YouTube video about how Ivy was the reason the Philadelphia Fusion were good at one point in the year, and he hasn't been out there for a while, and it really has just whoever's come in has stepped up. And that, again, speaks to the quality of the coaching that this team has been able to assemble, and their whole staff, their whole roster, except for Chipsa, has been really exceptional and stand out this year. It's a great storyline. I'm excited to see them play in the grand finals weekend, and hopefully they have a stronger performance this time around than the last time around, and are able to put something together. But again, this is a regular season award, so when you just look at the standings and see where they sit, it's obvious that there's got to be a really strong organizational structure around the players, because you don't level up like that and there's a good number of changes, but there's still, like, the core of that team is really still there. Fury, they're not even using the man very much, right? And they're still able to be as good as they have been all year. So congratulations to them, and best of luck to you in the grand finals weekend coming up in a couple of weeks. That does bring us to the end of the Owlies. Thank you, everybody, for torturing yourself and sitting through the repetitive sound effects, the corny, the corny music, the bad jokes, the mispronunciation of award winners, all of it. It was awful. We thank you for being here for it. Anyways, please do let us know what you think of the show. If you want us to keep doing this, do it again next year. This is, again, part of that break between the postseason and then the grand finals weekend, and we thought it would be a great time to bring it out and fill in some of that gap. So yeah, thanks for sitting through it. If it was painful, we figured this would be the best episode we ever made or the worst episode we ever made, but regardless, we were very confident that it would be the most entertaining either way. Whether, everybody likes to watch a train wreck from now and again. So Blevins, any parting words, anybody you thought got shafted here in the awards?
I mean, the big one, of course, is Krusty, right? I mean, I think you make a very defensible argument against picking Krusty this year, because, of course, a lot of the work that he did was,
it's not best coach. It's not Overwatch League's best coach.
Right.
It's coach of the year 2020.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
That's the key to me.
Yeah. You made a sensible pick based on what the award should actually be, and didn't just pick the sticker seller #1, everyone's first pick overall. Which is, which is really what puts the Owlies above any other award show. We actually look at what the awards should actually be and pick the winners based on the criteria of the award, not just the top pick from fans, which is
how many citizens in China vote on it.
Right.
That's not a factor. But nonetheless, in defense of the other awards that the league actually gives out, we were harsh on them last year. We're making jokes this time just to buoy our own show.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it, right? Nobody else is gonna. But they really did a great job this year. I loved the nominees list, and we still got more awards from the league to come. But we got you. We beat you.
We're the first award show officially.
If you dare give anything to Myungbong, then you just copied off of us. That's all.
True. But in all honesty, I mean, I had a bunch of fun doing it. I know Deathblow, you had a lot of fun planning this out. This was really your brainchild. So
I may or may not have been working on it for like a month and a half.
Yeah. And I will say, we can pat ourselves on the back, Deathblow. We committed to something on cast and then actually followed through with it. Wow.
It's the only way we're gonna.
It's true. So thank you everyone for watching. Let's just ask, what do you think, listeners of the live show? What did you think of it? Thank you so much. It was nothing. No, thank you. No need for applause. No. Thank you.
One last award before we go, and make sure you immediately cut the tape. But the worst London Spitfire fan in Overwatch League goes to Finny. So Congratulations, Finny.
Yes,
you did it. You're the worst.
Yes, the award. No, we're kidding. We love you all, chat.
Love you, Finny.
We love everyone. And in all seriousness, thank you everyone for listening and watching. I won't go through the whole rigmarole of the end of the show, because if you're here, you know it. We're High Noon Podcast everywhere. Deathblow and Blevin. So you can find us. You can find us if you haven't already. High Noon Podcast everywhere. But thank you again, everyone, for listening to this year's Overwatch League 2020, The Owlies, brought to you by High Noon Podcast. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And of course, as always, we will ignore those promptly. But thank you, everyone, for watching. And remember, it's High Noon. That was the Overwatch League 2020 The Owlies, brought to you by High Noon Podcast.